While Herb Simon was maintaining the status quo in Indiana, a man over 1,000 miles away just reset the entire market for women's professional basketball. Tilman Fertitta didn't just make an investment. He made a statement, a $300 million statement, to bring the Houston Comets back to life. And here's what makes that number so staggering: it wasn't necessary. Fertitta already owns the Houston Rockets. He already controls a major basketball market. He didn't need another franchise to stay relevant. He didn't need to prove anything financially, but he chose to act anyway. That's not passive ownership. That's conviction. Now shift the lens to Indiana, because the Indiana Fever are sitting on the single most valuable on-court asset in the entire league, Caitlin Clark. And her impact is not theoretical. It's measurable. Franchise valuation has surged into the hundreds of millions. Attendance has exploded into sellout territory. National TV ratings have reached historic levels. Clark didn't just elevate the Fever. She elevated the entire league ecosystem. And that's where the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Because while Fertitta was writing a $300 million check to enter the future of the WNBA, Indiana has spent the last offseason managing contracts. Short-term deals, internal retention, minimal external aggression. Let's be clear about something. These are not the same decisions. Fertitta's move is about expansion and positioning. Simon's approach is about preservation and control. But in a league that is rapidly accelerating, those two strategies don't carry the same risk profile anymore. Because the WNBA is no longer a slow-growth league. It's entering a phase of explosive valuation. Look at what's happening across the board. Golden State Valkyries jumping to a $500 million valuation, new ownership groups committing hundreds of millions across multiple markets, media rights deals reshaping revenue expectations. This is not gradual evolution. This is a financial surge. And that brings us back to Clark. Because players like her don't just change games, they change timelines. She compresses development cycles. She accelerates revenue. She raises expectations instantly. And when you have a player like that, the question is no longer, is the franchise valuable? That's already been answered. The real question becomes, what are you doing with that value? Indiana's offseason gives us clues. Kelsey Mitchell on a short-term deal. Core continuity prioritized. Measured roster adjustments instead of aggressive upgrades. Even cornerstone players like Aaliyah Boston remain part of a steady, long-term plan rather than a rapid championship push. That's not incompetence. It's caution. But caution in a rapidly accelerating market comes with its own risk. Because while you're maintaining flexibility, other teams are scaling. Now layer in the timing. The Fever open their season in just days. And they open against a team like the Dallas Wings, a roster that has already tested Indiana's depth, spacing, and structural consistency. At the same time, key pieces like Boston and Lexi Hull haven't had full preseason continuity on the floor. That matters, because chemistry in this league isn't optional, it's structural. And when your system is built around a high-processing, high-gravity player like Clark, every missing piece is amplified. Spacing matters more. Screening matters more. Shot-making matters more. So when you zoom out, this isn't really about one owner versus another. It's about two different philosophies colliding with the same reality. Fertitta is betting on where the league is going. Simon is benefiting from where the league already is. Both can work, but only one scales aggressively with momentum. Final reality: the WNBA is growing faster than ever. Franchise values are rising at historic rates. Superstar impact is reshaping economics in real time, and sitting right at the center of all of it is Caitlin Clark, the catalyst, the multiplier, the pressure point. While Herb Simon sat comfortably in silence, a man nearly 1,000 miles away made the loudest, most aggressive move in the entire history of women's professional basketball. Tilman Fertitta didn't wait. He didn't hesitate. And most importantly, he didn't play it safe. He wrote a $300 million check to bring the Houston Comets back to life. Not because he had to, not because he was forced into it, but because he believed in what the WNBA is becoming. And that single decision just exposed a massive philosophical gap between two owners and two futures. The move that changed the league. Let's be crystal clear about what just happened. Fertitta didn't buy a struggling franchise at a discount. He didn't wait for market conditions to soften. He didn't negotiate down to the lowest possible number. He paid $300 million to acquire the Connecticut Sun and relocate them to Houston starting in 2027. That number matters, because it's not just the highest price ever paid for a WNBA franchise. It's a declaration. A declaration that women's basketball is no longer a niche investment. It's a premium asset class. And here's the part that should shake Indiana to its core. He made that investment without Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, Indiana has the biggest star in the world. The Indiana Fever don't need to imagine potential. They already have it. They have the most influential player in the sport, the most watched, the most talked about. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's a movement. She drives attendance past 17,000 per game. She boosts national TV ratings beyond expectations. She turns regular season games into must-watch events. And because of her presence, the Fever's valuation has skyrocketed to $335 million, a 273% increase. That's not growth. That's an explosion. So, what did Indiana do with that momentum? They played it safe. Short-term contracts, minimal roster aggression, no transformative investments, while the rest of the league is building for the next decade. Indiana is operating like it's protecting the present. And that's the disconnect. The league is moving fast. Look around the WNBA landscape right now. Dan Gilbert commits $250 million to Cleveland. Tom Gores commits $250 million to Detroit. Josh Harris commits $250 million to Philadelphia. That's over $1 billion invested in 1 year. Then you have the Golden State Valkyries, an expansion franchise that went from a $50 million entry fee to a $500 million valuation in under 2 years. That's a 10x jump. The league isn't growing slowly anymore. It's accelerating. And the owners who recognize that are positioning themselves for dominance. Indiana's strategy: stability over aggression. Now, let's talk about the Fever's internal decisions. Aaliyah Boston signs a historic extension, but it took time. Kelsey Mitchell signs just a 1-year deal. Sophie Cunningham also on a short-term contract. Even depth pieces like Christy Wallace and Chloe Bibby were lost in expansion decisions. This isn't a franchise building a dynasty. This is a franchise maintaining control without maximizing opportunity. The irony nobody is talking about, because here's the truth that makes this entire situation fascinating. Back in 1983, Herb Simon was the bold one. When the Indiana Pacers were on the verge of collapse, he stepped in. He took the risk. He made the investment. He believed when nobody else would. That version of Herb Simon? He looks a lot like Tilman Fertitta today. But in 2026, the roles have reversed. Fertitta is building the future. Fertitta didn't just buy a team. He bought history. The Houston Comets weren't just any franchise. They were the WNBA's first dynasty. Cynthia Cooper Sherrill swoops Tina Thompson 4 straight championships from 1997 to 2000. That legacy sat dormant for 18 years. Fertitta didn't just revive it, he gave it a future. Indiana is sitting on a gold mine, and this is where the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Houston is investing in potential. Indiana already has the product. They have the biggest star, the highest demand, the fastest growing valuation, but instead of scaling that momentum, they're managing it. This isn't about spending, it's about vision, because great franchises aren't remembered for being careful. They're remembered for being bold, for taking the moment when it arrives and turning it into something bigger. Right now, the WNBA is at an inflection point, a turning moment, and owners across the league are choosing sides. Build aggressively or maintain cautiously. The clock is ticking. Opening night is coming. Caitlin Clark will step onto the court. The arena will be packed. The numbers will deliver. But beneath all of that, there's a question that won't go away. Is Indiana building something historic or just holding on to something valuable? Because Houston already made its decision. They invested in the future, and they paid $300 million to prove it.